Hi everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Maral. I'm a counsellor, therapist, and I do some channeling sometimes as well. Today, I want to talk about quite a big topic that I feel like we've heard so much around, and that's all about self-love. We've talked about, I'm sure you've heard all around in YouTube and media, in social media, how do you love yourself, right? Because it is a big one. It's a really big one. I did do a video on unconditional love a little while ago, and I feel like the two kind of go hand in hand, really. But I put it in terms of self-love so we can understand maybe how it might work in terms of ourselves and what we're going through. And I do have my guides here as always. I've got my Plague and family here. We're going to just help channel what comes through. So self-love is a really big topic, a really big thing. And I think that we're all kind of, I'm being shown like almost quite scared to go there, because even though we want to believe that we love ourselves, and I've met people that absolutely believe that they are happy, they love themselves, there is no issue. And this is just the unconscious mind that does that makes us believe that. In reality, and I can't say this for everyone, obviously, but for most people, now we're feeling it more and more because of this awakening, this change, this transformation that we're going through. We are noticing more and more things, parts of ourselves that maybe we haven't noticed before. Okay, so what's happening is that we're kind of being asked to, for the first time maybe ever in our lives, to love ourselves. Self-love is a concept that's been kind of pushed aside, that's been forgotten about, that's kind of been blocked out, because we want to believe that we love ourselves, of course, and we don't want to know anything different. But really, we all really struggle to love ourselves. That is, most of us, I will say, not all of us. That is pretty much, quite accurate, we could say. When we go deeper and deeper and we start noticing ourselves more and more, we really see what we need to see in order to work through our stuff, in order to get to self-love. I have heard, and I'm sure other people watching this have as well, heard people say, there are like people out there on, I keep on thinking social media, you love yourself by A, B, and C. And it's almost like they have a formula of how to love ourselves. And to that, I would say to some degree, there is some truth there. However, it never gets to the root issues of stuff. And this goes for therapy as well. So I've said this before in other videos, that standard therapy brings in a very standard approach. Mainstream, almost quite superficial, let's just mask things and let's manage things, right? Rather than go right to the roots of what's actually going on and let's transform what needs to transform, right? This is the real deep stuff that happens. I feel like when I hear these stuff about self-love and how do you love yourself, and you love yourself by doing this and that and that, to me, that really reminds me of standard therapy, because that's a way of managing things. Yes, there's nothing wrong with all that, even things like speaking to yourself, affirmations, or what I want to kind of say what works for you, but noticing, that's what it is. Noticing what works for you is really important. And the way you notice what works for you is by listening to yourself. What feels good? One of the most important things I've been told, on my own journey is, if it feels good, follow it. Okay. Now, obviously, you have to use your discernment there as well, but your feeling that comes from your heart is so important in life, full stop, and especially with where we are right now on this planet. We have to listen to how we feel. It's very, very important. This is what brings boundaries, like choosing the right thing for us, the way we need to get through life, any choices that we need to make, everything. It all comes down to feelings. Transformation is all through feelings. So feelings, again, are so important, as I've said before, but going back to self-love, this is how we get to that. So if something feels good, whether it's a certain environment, whether it's a certain place, whether it's a certain thing you might want to like listen to, certain like movement that you want to do, whatever it is, that's the answer. If it feels good, go for it. Of course, that's all part of self-love. However, if we want to go right to the roots of our issues and go and really work through self-love, the only way, as I'm being told, is by the work we are continuously doing. As we work more on this kind of work, I guess you could say, that we're on, the work being what we're doing in life. So as we're living, which is a kind of work, because this is why we've come here, is to basically learn. We are here in like a school and we're constantly learning. This is literally why we are here. So if we let ourselves learn and we go through our lessons and learn the lessons as it comes more and more, then we eventually will get to self-love. Because what's happening is, on a soul level, everything is being designated for us. So these lessons and also the vibrations that that brings comes to us. We have to experience it. I've said this before. The only way through anything is through experience. If you want to build yourself up, as in be a better person or a more updated version of yourself, or get into self-love, you have to be able to experience everything they're going through right now, especially at this time of this awakening. We are really feeling the squeezes and the pushes more than ever. We are experiencing anxiety and stress more than ever, depression more than ever, because this is the experience that's needed, literally going through this as we're clearing our karma, which is this experience, in order to get to self-alignment. That's the word I'm getting, which is basically going to be some form of self-love. To get to real self-love, you have to go through the whole thing. You have to go through the whole part of life. So to say that we love ourselves now is not quite accurate. It doesn't mean you can't keep on doing the work, absolutely. But this work is long, and obviously it depends on what your soul has chosen, and every soul is going to choose, what they wanted before they've come here. So everyone in a way is different. But generally speaking, one of the words that I picked up, which I love, is two different words. One is being resonance and one being dissonance. Resonance is the openness and the acceptance of everything that comes to you, and you accept everything, which is basically love everything, including yourself and every part of you, which is basically self-love. And dissonance is when you always feel separated from things and you feel like you don't belong and you're not part of something, which is the fear, which is the opposite of love. So if you really want to get to the self-love, we need to be in that energetic field of resonance. And resonance may take a while to get there. So it's about working through what we need to work through. But the most important thing through this journey, in order to really get to that self-love more and more, is to bring your heart energy in. When we bring pure heart, gentleness, it's the nurturing, it's the feminine. And I have said this before, feminine, when we are in our feminine nature, we actually allow transformation and change to happen, which means we allow the steps to unfold as it's meant to in order to get to self-love. The feminine energy is basically the self-love that's needed. That's what it actually is. So instead of ignoring that and believing that the feminine is this softness or a weakness, let's say, that's not the case. We open ourselves up, let the journey unfold, go through what we need to go through, let life take us where we need to go through. And in those steps, if we keep on bringing in the feelings, allowing the feelings in, letting ourselves be in that softness and that nurturing and that love for ourselves, this is how we learn self-love. It's basically going through even the most hellish times of your life, whatever you need to go through in your life, wherever you are right now, it's always about bringing love in. So if you are experiencing right now, let's say, a bit of a hatred for yourself, maybe you're criticizing yourself for something, you're judging yourself for not doing something good enough, whatever it is, okay, bring love to that. Let's bring love to that. That's how you get to through this journey. It's always bringing in love. So instead of I'm doing something wrong, I'm not enough, can we start bringing some self-compassion in? When we bring self-compassion in, we are practicing, yes, self-love. It's basically the same thing. Yes, that means you just don't judge yourself for anything you do. Basically, you don't apologize for anything. You are what you are, because at the end of the day, you are here to learn. So yeah, you are going to be going through these ups and downs. You are going to be in stages of your life where you're basically learning a lesson. How can you be perfect in anything when you're learning a lesson? Of course you can't. So, be okay with where you are. Just accept where you are. Bring the no judgment in. Bring in the self-compassion. And that's how you basically get to self-love.